Video 21, Part 8b of 25, Inputs to the Define Activities process. The purpose of this video is to develop a WBS to present the inputs to the Define Activities process. The Define Activities process is the second process in the Project Schedule Management knowledge area and is related to the Planning Process group. Please click the like button. Subscribe to my channel and share with others. Thank you. The first input to the Define Activities process is the Project Management Plan. The Project Management Plan is a critical input to the Define Activities process. And the reasons why Project Management Plan is important are presented now. 1. Schedule Management Plan. The Project Management Plan provides guidance on how activities should be defined, including level of detail, rolling wave planning, and whether agile or predictive approaches will be used. The Project Management Plan specifies whether activities should be broken down into phases or iterations. The Schedule Management Plan ensures that activities are defined in a way that supports realistic scheduling. 2. Scope Baseline, including WBS and Scope Statement. The work breakdown structure is a primary reference for decomposing work packages into activities. The WBS ensures that all necessary activities are identified without duplication or omission. The Project Scope Statement ensures that activities align with deliverables and constraints. 3. Development Approach, from the Project Lifecycle Definition. The Project Management Plan determines whether activities are defined iteratively, such as agile, adaptive, or sequentially, such as predictive, waterfall. How can poor Project Management Plan analysis harm the PMBOK Define Activities process? Poor Project Management Plan analysis can significantly harm the Define Activities process in PMBOK, leading to inefficiencies, delays, and project failures. And the reasons why a poor Project Management Plan analysis can harm the Define Activities process are presented now. 1. Incomplete or inaccurate activity identification. If the scope baseline, such as WBS and scope statement, is poorly analyzed, critical work packages may be missed or misunderstood. This can result in activities being omitted, duplicated, or misaligned with deliverables, causing rework or scope gaps. As an example, imagine a software project with no user acceptance testing activities due to a vague WBS. 2. Unrealistic activity definitions. A weak schedule management plan may lack clear guidelines on activity granularity, such as agile versus waterfall. This can result in activities that are too broad, difficult to estimate, or too detailed, excessive micromanagement. As an example, imagine a construction project defining build foundation as a single activity, rather than breaking it down into excavation, formwork, pouring, etc. 3. Misaligned development approach. If the development approach, such as predictive, hybrid, or agile, is not properly analyzed, activities may not fit the project lifecycle. This can result in agile projects with overly rigid activity lists, while predictive projects may lack iterative refinements. As an example, a Scrum project may be forced to adopt a fixed Gantt chart due to inadequate planning. 4. Poor dependencies and sequencing. Without reviewing the schedule management plan, logical relationships such as finish to start, finish to finish, and start to start may be ignored. This may result in activities being sequenced incorrectly, leading to bottlenecks or idle resources. For example, we may have a situation where coding begins before requirements are finalized, causing massive rework. 5. Resource and risk blind spots. Inadequate analysis of resource management plan or risk register inputs can result in activities that do not take into account resource constraints or risk responses, leading to delays. For example, we may not allocate backup developers to a high-risk module, which can cause delays when a key person leaves. 6. Compliance and quality failures. For example, we may have a medical device project that skips activities related to FDA auditing. In conclusion, the project management plan is essential for defined activities because it provides the framework, constraints, and methodologies needed to break down work effectively. Without the project management plan, the defined activities process would lack structure, leading to inconsistencies, missed work, or misalignment with project objectives. As a final message, a well-analyzed project management plan ensures activities are complete, realistic, and aligned with project goals. A poor project management plan analysis disrupts defined activities by causing missing, misaligned, or inefficient activities, leading to cost overruns, delays, and project failure. The second input to the defined activities process is the enterprise environmental factors. In the PMBOK guide, enterprise environmental factors play a significant role in the defined activities process. Here, we can see how enterprise environmental factors is so important. 1. Influence on activity definition. Enterprise environmental factors provide external and internal organizational conditions that shape how activities are defined, including, first, organizational culture and structure, such as whether the company prefers agile or predictive approaches. Second, existing project management methodologies, such as standardized templates or tools like MS Project, Jira. Third, government or industry standards, such as compliance requirements that dictate specific tasks. 2. Resource availability and constraints. Enterprise environmental factors also contribute to, first, human resources, such as skill levels and team availability. Second, infrastructure and tools, such as software, equipment, or facilities that impact how work is divided. Third, geographic distribution, such as remote teams may require different activity structures. 3. Historical data and lessons learned. Enterprise environmental factors also contribute to, first, records of previous projects and organizational process assets assist in refining activity lists. Second, benchmarking with similar projects ensures realistic activity definitions. 4. Market conditions and external factors. Enterprise environmental factors also contribute to, first, regulatory changes may introduce new mandatory activities. Second, technological advances may speed or complicate activity division. How can poor enterprise environmental factors analysis harm the PMBOK defined activities process? Here we see how a poor analysis of enterprise environmental factors in the PMBOK defined activities process can lead to significant project risks, inefficiencies, and failures. 1. Unrealistic activity definitions. Ignoring team skill gaps may result in overly optimistic activity durations, causing delays when inexperienced staff struggle with complex tasks. This can result in schedule overruns and rework. 2. Inefficient work breakdown. Failing to consider company culture, such as a rigid hierarchy, could lead to top-down activity planning without team input, missing critical tasks. This can result in gaps in the activity list or redundant work. 3. Compliance and legal risks. Overlooking regulatory enterprise environmental factors, such as safety standards in construction, may omit mandatory inspections or documentation steps. This can result in fines, work stoppages, or legal consequences. 4. Resource shortages or mismatches. Not accounting for enterprise environmental factors like shared resources across projects could lead to overall location, delaying critical path activities. This can result in bottlenecks and missed deadlines. 5. Tool and technology misalignment. Assuming teams can use advanced scheduling software without verifying access, training may force manual tracking. This can result in inaccurate progress reporting and schedule slippage. 6. Geographic and logistical failures. Ignoring time zones or local holidays for a global team could disrupt activity sequencing. This can result in coordination breakdowns and idle time. 7. Stakeholder miscommunication. Poor analysis of organizational communication norms might lead to unclear activity ownership. This can result in rework or conflicts between teams. In conclusion, enterprise environmental factors are essential inputs because they ensure that the activity definition process is aligned with real-world constraints, organizational norms, and available resources. Ignoring them may lead to unrealistic timelines, inefficiencies, or compliance risks. Poor enterprise environmental factors analysis undermines the feasibility and accuracy of the activity list, jeopardizing the entire schedule. The third input to the define activities process is the organizational process assets. Here's why the contribution of organizational process assets is extremely important to the activity definition process in project management. 1. Historical information and lessons learned. Organizational process assets are important here because past project records, templates, and activity lists from similar projects help in identifying and structuring activities efficiently. Organizational process assets avoids reinventing the wheel by leveraging proven approaches. 2. Standardized processes and templates. Organizational process assets often provide predefined activity lists or work breakdown structure templates, speeding up activity definition. Organizational process assets ensures consistency with organizational best practices. 3. Established guidelines and policies. Organizational process assets are important here because company policies, such as agile versus waterfall approaches, influence how activities are broken down and sequenced. Organizational process assets are important here because compliance requirements may dictate certain mandatory activities. 4. Project management methodology. If the organization follows specific methodologies, such as PMBOK, PRINCE2, or Scrum, organizational process assets provide relevant tools and techniques for activity definition. 5. Software and tools. Availability of scheduling tools, such as MS Project and Jira, and historical databases aids in structuring and documenting activities. How can a poor organizational process assets analysis harm the define activities process? Here's how a poor analysis of organizational process assets can significantly harm the define activities process, leading to inefficiencies, missed work, and project risks. 1. Incomplete or inaccurate activity lists. First, missed activities. Failing to review past project templates or lessons learned may result in omitting critical tasks. Second, redundant work. Without referencing historical data, teams may duplicate efforts instead of reusing proven approaches. 2. Inconsistent processes and non-standardized work. First, lack of alignment. ignoring organizational templates, such as WBS or activity checklists, leads to inconsistent structuring of work. Second, reinventing the wheel. Teams waste time creating activity definitions from scratch rather than adapting existing best practices. 3. Poor estimation and scheduling issues. First, unrealistic durations. Without historical benchmarks, activity duration estimates may be too optimistic or pessimistic. Second, flawed dependencies. Lessons from past projects help identify logical sequencing. Poor organizational process assets analysis risks incorrect activity ordering. 4. Increased risks and quality issues. First, repeat mistakes. Ignoring past project failures may lead to repeating errors in activity planning. Second, compliance gaps. Overlooking organizational policies, such as regulatory steps, may result in non-compliant workflows. 5. Resource and budget wastage. First, inefficient resource allocation. Without historical data, teams may overallocate or underutilize resources. Second, cost overruns. Poor activity definition leads to scope creep, rework, and budget leaks. In conclusion, organizational process assets provide essential guidance, efficiency, and standardization to the define activities process, ensuring that the project builds on prior knowledge and aligns with organizational practices. Their input is vital for accuracy and productivity. As impacts of ignoring organizational process assets, we have, first, inefficiency, duplicating work or missing critical activities. Second, inconsistency, deviating from organizational norms, leading to rework. Third, risk of errors, overlooking lessons learned from past projects. As real-world consequences, we have, first, delays. Missing key activities disrupts timelines. Second, rework. Poorly defined activities require corrections mid-project. Third, stakeholder dissatisfaction. Inconsistent outputs lead to mistrust. As a final thought, we have that a weak organizational process assets analysis undermines the define activities process, causing inefficiency, risks, and cost overruns. Strong organizational process assets utilization ensures accuracy, consistency, and project success. Finishing this video, we will have in the next videos. 1. Creation of WBS for different projects using WBS Schedule Pro. 2. Examples of project plans using MS Project. And many other videos. Don't forget to give a thumbs up if you like this video and want us to continue with new topics. Subscribe to the channel. All content is free. You can also comment suggesting topics you would like to see on this channel. Thank you.